Hi, my name is Mike, and in this video series I'll be creating an event management software using rapid prototyping. I've been working in the event business for 25 years now. I know there's a big gap between what is available right now and what the event organizers are really looking for. Anyone planning any kind of gathering of people will be able to utilize my software to organize their event, from elaborate birthday party to full-fledged trade show. The system I'll designing will be open source. Everyone can either utilize a free system that I'll provide online or set up their own system in the cloud or on-premise. The system will be real-time. You'll be able to see who is logged on, what everyone is doing. You can assign tasks to the admin group, you can message people. It will be a system that will truly support your event group before, during, and after the event. It's kind of mind-blowing that this is not the standard right now. You'll be able to use your own hardware. You have a laptop laying around? Use it. I'll make the system deployable even on a Raspberry Pi, which has become very powerful these days. Use your own batch printers, schedule printers, you name it. The system will be extendable. You want to connect Salesforce to it? Let's build a connector. At first I'll focus on the basics, but there will be a lot more in the works over the coming months. I'll go by feedback from the community and focus on the most requested items first. The system will be enterprise class. It will be reliable with failover capability. Scale it up or out however you wish, right out of the box. And last but not least, the system will be intuitive. I want a very flat learning curve with the best UX design. I'll make use of drag and drop and will probably use AI to guess what it is you're trying to do. I don't want you to have to train people for weeks until they become productive. And with that, I'll be diving right in. Let me scribble the architecture of the system. It will consist of 3 parts. The first part is the API, which is the brain of the operation, and I will try to draw a brain here. I'll program this in ASP.NET Core. You can deploy this on one node, but for 6 nines of uptime, I recommend stretching this out over several nodes. This isn't marked here, but I will be using MySQL as database. The second part is a web interface, or also called front end. This will be designed using React because it is fast and responsive. All modern web applications from Netflix to Airbnb use React for their responsive design. For the real-time portion, I'll be using Microsoft's Signal R. The third part is a standalone app that will be installed on various computers at the event. It will serve as interface to various inputs and outputs. That could be a display, video, audio, printer, camera, you name it. I'll program this in Windows Presentation Foundation, or WPF, so it will run best on any Windows computer. Now, this seems backwards, but when I start a new project, I like to start with a domain name. Here I'm trying various different ones, which are all taken. Everyone has their own process. Something I liked and I'm ultimately going with is Painless.events, and I'm registering painlessevents.com as well, just in case someone does not get that .events is actually a TDL. I'm also registering painful.events, and I have some ideas where to point this later on. Then it's off to CloudDNS, which I use to manage my DNS entries. I'll create new zones for the domains I bought and point to the CloudDNS name servers. Then I'll create a few A records, which point the domains and subdomains to specific IPs. I set up a new Windows Server 2022, installed FileZilla client and Chrome just to make the installation a little easier. I configure the server as web server in the server manager and install WebSockets as well. Then I create some folders in the file system for the different domains. I'll have 4 web servers running on here. One is for the Painless.events main website. One is for each specific client side, one is for the API, and one is for painful.events, which I'll not cover here any further. Each site gets a www and logs directory. Then I proceed to set up the actual IIS for each of the websites and point to the correct directory. Next, I purchase the wildcard SSL certificate. That involves creating a CSR on the server, which will then be transferred to the certificate authority. After verifying via DNS text record that this is actually me, I get the X509 and PKCS7. I install OpenSSL on the server so I can convert the PKCS7 to something the Windows server can use, which I then import. I'm setting up this new wildcard certificate on 3 of the servers, create a small index HTML page to test out the functionality, and voila, I'm in business. Then I'll install FileZilla server and set up an account for each of the web servers. This step is not required, but it will make publishing during development a little easier. I'm also enabling FTP here in the firewall. Now I'm thinking about the logo and how to approach this. This won't be the end of it all, but I'm starting with the letters P and E. I think I'll have the P on the side and have the E curve around it. Maybe edge it up a little to make it square. Not sure about the colors, but I'm jumping right into Corel to design this. Starting with a circle and create some rings around it. I delete a few, combine a few, and end up with something that looks like target. After a few reference lines, I'll start creating the horizontal lines and line them up. Trim the circles and merge them into the correct shape. Then I square the logo up and keep merging until I'm left with 3 objects. I continue with the text, put Painless and events in 2 different lines, align and square them up, and voila, and end up with the logo in 15 minutes. I decide on mint green and coral as main colors and create a secondary logo with dark background as alternative. Now, this was all the setup. I haven't created a single line of code. In the next video, I'll set up the IDE and it'll start to code a little. Thanks for watching.